Hey BookTube, Chelsea the Reading Outlaw here to do the world's quickest book review of Strong Looks Better Naked by Khloe Kardashian. Not the kind of book I thought you'd ever see on here, is it? Spoiler alert, I am absolutely obsessed with the Kardashians. No shame. Been watching them for a very, very long time. Khloe has long been my favorite Kardashian sister. So when I saw that she had a book coming out, and then when I saw that that book was available at my library, bet you can guess what the next thing I did was. I checked it out. It is just over 200 pages. It is mainly a book in the vein of like diet, exercise, mental health, encouragement, and all of that. I will say, do not pick up this book if you are looking for any like sudden elucidations on diet and exercise that you didn't already have. Khloe Kardashian is by no means a genius on those fronts, but she does bring in people who are more officially educated than she is, who are actually book educated in the fields of like fitness and nutrition and spiritual health. There are several inserts from pastors and nutritionists and fitness coaches and all of those things. But I will say that the what made this book so enjoyable, and that the reason I took a couple nights out of my life to actually read it, are some of the anecdotes that she tells. And I will say that for somebody who is on a reality show and whose fame comes from being on a reality show, Khloe Kardashian is probably one of the more private women of that clan and in that circle. And so it was interesting in this book to see her kind of peel back some of those layers a little bit. She talks a little bit about her marriage and divorce to Lamar Odom. She talks a lot about her relationship with her brother Rob, a lot about her relationship with her dad, who has now passed away. And those things made the book really, really interesting. They definitely added a different kind of level to or interpretation behind some of the facts she was sharing. I mean, the information in here is good too. Things like start a routine and stick to it. You're never going to stick to it if it's not at least a little bit fun. Finding something that is fun for you, that is in terms of like being fit or being athletic. Um, and then just some really nice moments between her and her sisters. As an only child, I think that's one of the things that I find most interesting about the Kardashians, is that they're this huge family, and that makes for a really interesting dynamic. I don't have that. It's just, well, let me rephrase. I'm not an only child. I have both an older brother and an older sister, but my brother is 10 years older than I am, and my sister is 7 years older than I am. So I was essentially raised as an only child. By the time I was old enough to really want a relationship with either one of my siblings, like by the time I wasn't like too cool for that anymore, they were both out of the house and off to school and doing their own adult life type things. So it was really interesting to me to hear her talk about what it was like growing up in this house full of people. She has a couple moments where she talks about her transition of her relationship with Bruce when Bruce was no longer Bruce and became Caitlyn. Some of those are really interesting, but yeah, this isn't really a review so much as I just wanted to talk about some of the other things that I talk about when I'm not reading, or what I read when I'm not reading, like SFF and harder nonfiction. It was a couple months ago, I think. I'll see if I can find the video and link it down below. That Rachel from Colonnati asked the question, what do you read when you're not reading what you're talking about reading, which is confusing. Basically, we spend a lot of time talking about like certain books on our channel or certain types of books, and sometimes we read things that don't kind of fit into those categories, or that we don't think are kind of worth talking about on BookTube. And this normally for me would fit in that category, but I thought, you know what? No, I took the time to read it. I want to take the time to talk about it, even if I don't necessarily have a lot to say. That's something I'm hoping to do more in 2016, is to give at least brief mention to all the books I read, not just kind of the bigger books or the SFF titles that come across my desk. So yeah, so that is just under 5 minutes on Khloe Kardashian's Strong Looks Better Naked. I will say the book reads super fast, mostly because it's got a lot of these full page quotes that are really interesting, and then it's got a lot of these. So like that's a spread right in the middle, so that's like nothing but pictures. But she does like splice in pictures every now and then. There's also a little section in the middle for some recipes. And the thing I found most interesting slash kind of super annoying is, I don't know if you can see, I don't know if it's going to transfer on this paper, but this paper, it's like a gray newsprint as opposed to like, let's see if you can see the difference. Like something like that that's more cream colored. I don't know. That's kind of hard to see. but I just thought that was interesting. So yeah, that is a book that I have been reading that does not necessarily fit into the normal scheme or scope of what I normally read. Why don't you go and leave me a comment down below telling me what the book that you've most recently read that you haven't really talked to anybody about. And as always, you can like, subscribe, and I will see you around the internet. Bye, guys.